Hi, everybody. Happy 4th of July week. Welcome back to the Casual Critics. We're an opinion-based podcast hosted by myself, Presley Baker, and my mom, Rebecca Baker. We're very excited to have all of you guys listening, and I think this is our 6th episode now, so welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're having a lot of fun doing this. We're getting a lot of great feedback from everybody, and several people have said they learned something along the way besides being entertained, so that's always good. We're going to actually start off this podcast a little lighter than some of the previous ones, which were into sports and politics first. We're going to just dive into 4th of July parties and grilling tips.
Hey, sports would have been light if the Mavs had won.
That's true.
That would have been a lighter topic.
I know we touched a little bit on grilling when grilling season started with Memorial Day, but 4th of July is the biggest day when people eat hot dogs across the country. Which we mentioned when we talked about Joey Chestnut and the hot dog eating contest last time.
I'm still sad about that.
So Americans eat approximately 150 million hot dogs on the 4th of July alone.
It's disgusting. It's so much hot.
It is, but I love hot dogs. So,
so many hot dogs.
I was brought up in Chicago, and hot dogs is just a staple item. And
does Joey Chestnut eat like a fourth of that?
Probably. So with that, we just thought we would talk about a little bit about parties and what you can do for 4th of July. And for a lot of this applies to any outdoor party or gathering during the summer. Yeah. So, but with 4th of July, get a good Bluetooth speaker. We looked at one yesterday at Costco. It looked pretty good.
That we're going to go back to get.
We're going to go back to get because, we need a new outdoor speaker.
I love JBL. That's the brand we're going to get. And I love JBL speakers. I have a little one that clips and it's waterproof and it's super light and great sound.
So this one is giant. Yeah, and it's kind of like boombox style almost. It's a big speaker.
Yeah, it's like a pill shape.
Yeah, pill-shaped speaker. And it's pretty large, but I saw it other places too, and Costco had it for $100 less, which is significant.
Than Scheels.
Gotta love Costco.
Yeah, I think we saw it where Scheels
and Walmart. Yeah. So it was cheaper at Costco by $100, which is a good savings. And then go ahead and set out your outdoor speaker, set out some outdoor games like cornhole. I got these really cool, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I got these really cool little stars that stake into the ground, and I'm going to make a little alleyway for the cornhole game so that it's kind of defined in our backyard. So
Becky's the party queen. So we've gotten a lot of requests recently to do a full party planning debrief episode, which we're going to have to do at some point.
That would be great.
Becky's the party queen. She throws good parties, taught me to throw good parties. So
yeah. So one of the things too, you want to make sure with this event with the weekend, but also with any outdoor activity this summer, make sure there's plenty of water.
Right.
And what I do, I promise you, whatever you think people will drink in water at a party at your house, double it, because people down the water. And you want to have enough on hand. So buy cases there. Again, you can get them at Costco or wherever. I like the medium-sized ones, but you can buy the bigger ones.
And this is an interjection about water, but I lived in California when I went to college, and I lived at the house that was the party house because it was me and 10 of my sorority sisters. And I was the only one that would buy cases of water, right? Or Dad would Instacart me 11 cases of water.
Right.
So I would have these cases of water stacked in my room, and we would have all these huge parties, and no one would ever buy water. They'd, of course, only bring alcohol. And then everybody was coming in my room to take water.
Yeah.
So
water,
you need water.
Water's essential.
Yeah.
And with outdoor parties, you can, get these big plastic tubs at any, Walmart or Party City or
Costco.
Almost anywhere. And get these big, either the galvanized steel tubs or just big plastic ones even, and put, dump your ice in there and dump water in those and set them outside, and people could kind of self-serve and takes care of it. The other thing I was thinking too is, and not everybody needs this, but citronella, depends on what time of day the party is.
You need it in Texas.
You need it in Texas, but also especially in the evening when the sun is dropping and, you've got dusk. And anything at dusk, the mosquitoes come out. So you want to, and also if you're by any kind of water, like, any bodies of water at all, whether that's a pond or lake or river, whatever. So citronella, and you can either do the candles, or we have these, like, I thought these were really cool. I bought some of these with the holders at Central Market, and they're mosquito repellent incense. So they're kind of like little punks that you light and you can set around, and they're very...
Yeah, you stab them into the ground.
You can put them in the ground. You can put them in the holders. They have these little holders that
they work really well.
And of course, my brothers always use the holders as an ashtray at one of my parties, which totally irritates
drives
me.
You insane.
It drives me crazy. But anyway, they have those, and they have also some pellets that you can sprinkle into your bushes if you need to. So treat it, 24 hours at least before your party. And then the punks you can set out in the candles during your party, of course.
I used to put all that out when I lived in that same college house because, somebody called me a dad friend, and I don't think they meant it as a compliment. I think but I've taken that on because I'm not a mom friend. But if you need to, like, if there's one person needs to drive like a giant truck with everybody in it, like that, they're calling me. They're like,
or fix Presley, something.
Can you come fix this? Can you kill this bug? Can you come put the mosquito stuff out? Like, I do all the dad tasks for my friends, I feel like, which is included that. But it works super well.
Everybody needs somebody to do that, right? That kind of stuff. On to grilling, since that's my area of kind of expertise with hot dogs and grilling meats. The
hot dog queen.
I'm still the queen of the hot dogs. Mm-hmm. Limit the number and types of meat that you grill when you have a bunch of people over, so that you don't have to monitor different temperatures to make sure everything's cooked correctly. So hot dogs are just like, they're already fully cooked. So you can't like undercook them, obviously, because they're already cooked.
It's hard to script a hot dog.
It's hard to script a hot dog. And hot dogs are just so fast, easy, feed the masses, kind of grab and go kind of food. And then I have this trick that I use when I have a lot of people that I'm serving hot dogs to, and especially if people are coming and going at different times, is you can go ahead and grill up the hot dogs and put them in buns and then wrap them in little sheets of foil. Mm-hmm. And then those will keep them warm, and put them just on a big pile on a big tray. Don't put any condiments on them, of course. Put those on the side. And then as people grab them, they can kind of self-serve themselves with condiments, whatever they want. I like that tip. People seem to like that a lot. I've used that a lot with Hoffman. And
Mom, what age are you allowed to put ketchup on your hot dog up until?
I would say 12 and under can do ketchup, but if you're a true adult,
you need mustard on your hot dog.
You need mustard on your hot dog. Yes, for sure.
It's the only thing I eat mustard with, actually.
Me too.
The only
thing. It's so funny, but me too. I'm not a huge mustard fan.
No.
But I do put it on my hot dogs and sausage.
And Hoffman does make the best mustard.
They do. The German mustard that Hoffman makes. Oh my gosh,
good.
It's incredible. So let's see what else. The perfect grill marks, put your hot dogs on the grill at an angle, and try not to, people tend to flip them a bunch of times.
No.
You don't do that. And same with burgers. If you're doing a burger, you want it to cook like about half the time on one side and then only flip it once, so that the juices stay intact for one thing, and then you get those nice grill marks on it.
So Becky typically does the grilling, but Gene decides to grill when we have company.
Yes. I don't know if it's a man thing.
I think he likes to present that he grills.
Yes.
But if it's just us three, he's not grilling.
No. And I like to grill.
You do.
I like to grill. So I think I'm not the traditional woman when it comes to some certain things, but I am the grill master. So
you are.
Yeah. And then when cooking your burgers, go for like an 80-20 burger for the holiday. And what that means when it says 80-20, it's an 80% lean ground beef and then a 20% fat. And you want that little bit of fat in there. That's one reason why Kobe beef is so popular right now as well, is that it has marbling and it has some fat in there, kind of similar to how like a ribeye does. And it gives the meat a lot of flavor. If you go really super lean and you're grilling out, it's going to tend to be a little dry. So, just kind of keep that in mind. Burgers cook usually about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how well done you want. Don't press the meat down. And I think that's...
You know where I learned that?
What?
From Bar Rescue.
Oh, yeah?
Because John Taffer was yelling at somebody that was squeezing all the juice out of the burger.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why people do that, because it takes literally all the juice and flavor.
Well, that's what he was saying, but it was a lot meaner than how we're talking about it.
Well, a lot of stuff he says.
Going, what are you, an idiot?
Yeah. A lot of stuff he says is pretty snappy, but... and then just go for traditional sides for the holiday weekend. Just go for the easy stuff that you can find at any grocery store if you don't feel like making it, from scratch, and do the potato salad and the potato chips and fresh fruit. I like to do the little bags of chips. And the reason is, since COVID, a lot of people don't like to reach in and grab chips out of a bag or out of a big bowl, even if you put
my preference for that has absolutely nothing to do with COVID and everything to do with people putting their grubby hands in the same bowl and grabbing touching all the chips.
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that nobody likes to, you're thinking of people grabbing stuff with their hands.
No.
And I usually, if I do put it in a big bowl, I put in a big scoop, but
no one uses that.
No one uses them. So I know. So I like to put out the little bags, and you can buy those at any grocery store in the big box or at Costco again, and just put those out in some sort of big bowl container, and let people grab.
We might have talked about this on another time when we were talking about Memorial Day, but I think a very good drink for this kind of season is the Deep Eddy lemon or the Deep Eddy sweet tea with an Arnold Palmer.
Yes.
And I love twisted teas, but this tastes like a real spiked Arnold Palmer and is really good.
That's one of my all-time favorite summer drinks.
So summery.
Yeah. They also, Deep Eddy also makes grapefruit vodka, which is amazing for summer. There again, you can mix it with something else, and
I like the grapefruit vodka mixed with the lime Spindrift. Have you had a Spindrift?
No, I haven't.
It's basically a LaCroix. You know how LaCroix is just a hint of fruit. Right. It's kind of bad to drink by itself, but they're really good mixers. But Spindrifts have real fruit in them. Okay. So it's not artificial flavors.
Right.
So they taste a little bit better. So they have lime and grapefruit and stuff, but they're really light, good mixers. It's almost like making a tequila soda or something like that, but with a little bit more pizzazz.
You can buy too, if you are conscious about the calories, you can buy light lemonade, and you can mix the light lemonade with vodka, which is really good. And you could do the flavored vodkas with it, or you could just do regular old vodka.
So I order skinny margaritas at restaurants because it's way less, not just calories, but also sugar and stuff in there, so you're not as hungover and stuff like that. I ordered one the other night, and my friend next to me, Parker, ordered a regular margarita, and mine looked like the regular, and his looked, and the skinny usually looks clear. Yeah. And then I made him try both. I go, which one's worse? And he goes, this one. I go, that one's mine. Yeah.
I know. I like the skinny Mambo taxis from Mika's.
Yeah, those are good.
Oh my gosh, those are.
Tori and I had some Mambo taxis the other night. Those were really great.
I still think back to when Gene drank way too many of those, and I think it's the last time he drank one.
He said something at boot camp the other night or the other day that was like, no one should drink those margarita drinks at Migacina or whatever. And then they were like, oh, Gene, haha. And I go, no, Gene had 7 one time.
From personal experience, he's telling you. Yes, he was lying on the sofa yelling, take me to the hospital and dying.
Except she's not nice, so she's going, you're not dying, go to bed.
You're going to be fine.
Yeah. Went to sleep.
Yeah, and I took my makeup off and went to sleep, so.
No. Yeah, that's probably his last time he's had one. Probably the last time he'll ever have one.
Yeah, no, it only takes once, when you have a bad experience with any food or alcohol.
Pink Whitney hurts me.
I like that still, but I
liked it too.
Yeah, I haven't had a bad experience with that, so must not have been pretty.
No, it wasn't.
What do you want to talk about now? Do you want to move on to Italy and packing?
Sure.
Okay, so I think I'm kind of an expert packer in some ways. I pack very light, and what I try to do is coordinate my clothes, not only just for this trip upcoming for Italy, but really almost any trip, by colors, and try to stay in the same families of colors. I might pick for a long trip, I might pick 2 or 3 different types, color schemes. But that avoids me taking a million pairs of shoes. If you're only taking a pair of shoes for one outfit, I don't do that. I take a pair of shoes for 2 or 3 outfits. Right. And then I usually have in the fall, if I'm traveling, I'll have a pair of closed-toed shoes, a pair of tennis shoes, and a pair of boot shoes. For summer, I'm going to have, nicer tennis shoes, designer ones. Yeah. And maybe some canvas ones, and then some sandals, a couple pairs of sandals.
So she's freakish. She has this little teeny tiny black bag that's literally this big. And she'll be like, oh, I packed for a week in there. And I'm like, what do you mean you packed for a week in there? What all's in there? It's like the Mary Poppins bag.
It's like a clown car. I keep pulling out stuff going, look.
Pam Troop, my second mother, Pam Troop, and we can't do that. We physically can't do that.
Well, Pam has a separate suitcase for her shoes alone.
I would too. I would too. And we don't understand. You're like, yep, I have 17 outfits in there. And we're like, what do you mean? But what I will say is I can fit anything in a suitcase.
No, you can't.
Like I can zip you don't think it can fit in that suitcase? It can.
Yeah.
I can do that. And I know exactly how much 50 pounds feels like from living so far away and traveling so much.
Right.
So every time I get up to the counter to check my 2 bags for Southwest, because it's almost always 2 bags, and I put it on there, it's 49 pounds.
Right. No, that's definitely an art.
But I'm better at the, I pack heavy, but I'm better at the, like, what you take on the plane.
Yes.
Because usually I have like I hate putting stuff in the overhead bin. It stresses me out. I don't like it.
See, I don't mind that.
I don't like anticipating having to pull my bag down and like everybody watching me do that. And no. So I'll usually try to take 1 bag and put it underneath my seat. But then you get on the plane with like
3 bags.
3, 4 bags.
I'm trying to combine so that if you're on Southwest, you can only bring 2 bags.
She gets off the plane with looks like way more bags than she got on the plane with. And the flight attendant's like, how'd she get on with all that crap?
Right.
But
no, I like to wear like a little sling, either a crossbody or some sort of fanny pack with a longer strap or something around, across my body. And I put like just my immediate things in there. So my phone, my credit cards,
AirPods,
and my AirPods, and that's it. I mean, it has very, very little stuff in there. And then of course we have Clear, which I don't know who all has that or not, but that is the best thing.
That is the
other
best.
than ballet. That's my favorite thing ever.
Other than checked bags, that's my favorite thing ever. But no, the Clear has saved me so many times for passing the lines, especially at Love Field, where like it's randomly crazy.
Yes.
We're pre-checked too, so that helps too. But
pre-check is great.
But
Clear takes it to a whole nother level.
Walks you right to the front of the line.
Absolutely.
It's so nice.
Yeah, so nice.
The last time I was coming home was from DC, and I left for the airport at 9:50. My flight.
I looked at where you were.
I know.
On my phone, and I said, "Oh my gosh!"
I got a couple texts from you and Dad, and I was like, I literally can't respond to them until I'm through security because I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
I can make it.
Yeah. And my flight was at 11, so I left exactly an hour, but 30 minutes before I boarded.
Oh my gosh!
And I got to the counter, and the thing didn't print my bag tags to check, so I had to go wait in the helpline.
Oh my gosh!
Of Southwest, and I'm like going, oh my God, and this lady in front of me is taking forever, and with a problem that probably could be fixed way after mine.
Mm-hmm.
But so I got to security at 10:12. My flight boarded at 10:30.
Oh my!
And so I went through Clear, walked right to the front.
So Clear is amazing. I don't even know. I hate to say I don't even know how much it costs because I just read
it's not that expensive.
It's not that much. I want to say it's like maybe $179 for the family.
Yeah,
for all of us
for the year.
Yeah, and I think I was like one of the original Clear people to sign up.
No,
because I was traveling so much to Syracuse for work that I signed up for it randomly. I thought, I'll try it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best.
It's like
thing
VIP
ever.
service.
It is like they literally walk you through security right up to the front, and then they barely even they scan your eyes or your fingers, your 2 fingers on the little pad, and then it pulls up all of your information, and then they you just whiz through security.
They always pick to take the picture of you though that pulls up every time on the like day you look the worst at the airport.
True.
I don't know why that is. So like I get a jump scare every time my picture comes up. Because I'm like, I promise I don't look like that, but
yeah. Well, I don't know. I love Clear. And so when packing though for the trip for Italy, I'm gonna pack light like I usually do. So I bought a lot of new clothes to take with me. And then I have some staple clothes that I just love that I'm bringing that I already had. But everything's going to pack super flat, like lightweight clothing. And then I layer, I'll bring probably 2 different sweaters with me on the trip that I can layer on top of any outfit that I have on. And if I need that in the evening or at a restaurant or something like that or on the plane. And then another thing is I try to get minis of certain things of my makeup or my all of your stuff that you bring that, to wash your face, take your makeup off, whatever it is. I bring like really small portions of those. And I picked up a couple new items too that I didn't normally have. Mm-hmm. But one of my go-to things that I do always have, and I know you have this too. This is the best thing ever.
So we wear the same perfume.
Yeah, we wear the same perfume. It's Chanel Mademoiselle, and it comes with a little twisty cap. This is a travel purse spray. Mm-hmm. And I bring this everywhere, and it comes with a little vial inside of it of perfume, and it lasts pretty long. So, I mean, take it on several trips for sure.
A lot of the mini stuff is definitely overpriced, like compared to getting the bigger one.
It is.
But like what I do is I keep all my like mini stuff in like a bin under my sink, and then I take it whenever I travel. Take it out whenever I travel, and it lasts you kind of a long time.
No, definitely.
You only use it when you travel. Don't use it like when you're at home. Use your regular stuff.
And it's worth it to me to have the smaller version while you're traveling.
Yeah,
not carry so much. And I bought like this mini blush that I thought was the coolest thing. And I don't even know who makes it, but I bought some of this at Sephora and
in the checkout aisle.
In the checkout aisle where they have all the little.
They always get me.
They have great stuff there. And then I bought this when we were in Boston, and it's an eyeshadow, just a base shadow. It was ungodly expensive, which
my God, all that stuff. What was the brand? It's French.
It's Sisley. And I bought a few things of it, and then I went to check out. It was like $400.
No, she had a bag literally like this big,
and I gasped. I did, because it was
the cheapest thing we got was a refill of my Chanel makeup.
I know, but I went ahead and kept it all because we were traveling, and it is
all the stuff you bought was great.
No, and it is my favorite eyeshadow now. And then they have all these like cool little cream shadows and stuff for summer. I haven't even opened this one yet, but this one's like blue, which I know blue shadow's really in right now. So that's like a kind of an in between a powder and a.
Well, Target also has great stuff for like toiletry minis, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Even the little makeup pad removers, the Neutrogena ones at
like
Target.
They have all the mini like versions of all the good toiletries. So
I bought all these little mini things, and then I had a few mini things and added to that. And then, I will make a Target run right before our trip and get a few other things. So anyway, we should be pretty much ready to go on our trip. We leave next week.
Monday, right? Monday?
I think it's Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. I'll have to look.
My friend Haley's in town from DC, or she's coming tomorrow, and she'll be here. She's from New Jersey, but she's never been to Texas, so we're gonna take her to do a lot of Texas things. She'll be here for the 4th of July party that we're having, but I think she leaves the day before we leave. Which I don't know if Dad knows that.
No,
but he'll be okay.
That's gonna be a little hairy trying to get ready, but
it is. But
that's okay.
Yep.
We'll adapt for sure.
We'll be fine.
And then our next podcast, we will be in Italy. We'll be in Lake Como when we do that.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of fun. And I'm hoping to get this lady who's called the Travel Mom on. She helped plan part of the trip. I usually plan the whole trip, but I had met her and did some work for her when I had my event company. And handled her travel show that she puts on at Star Power in Dallas.
Cool.
It's a really cool travel show. It's like a luxury travel show.
Yeah.
Anyway, she does some of this cool planning, so I involved her in this trip a little bit, and I did most of it, but then she did some really cool parts of it. So I'm hoping to have her on. If not that, while we're in Italy, we'll try to have her on another time.
Yeah, and we were trying to get Gene on this one, actually. He was like, I'm busy on Tuesdays at noon. And we're like, oh my God. We wanted him to be our first guest.
Yes.
That would only be natural.
Yes.
But
Gene
we'll get him on. We'll get him on the pod eventually.
Yeah. You want to talk about the debate?
Sure.
Okay. What was your take on it?
I mean, if you... It was a hard watch.
It was hard to watch.
It was a hard watch.
Yeah.
I think the New York Times actually came out with the poll of, well, first of all, they polled their staff writers, and New York Times doesn't usually lean Republican.
Right.
What I will say.
Right.
Not one of the staff writers said Biden won. Everybody was on the other side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy. And most of the polls have said like 30% of people think Joe Biden won the debate. And I'm like, where is this 30% of people?
I don't know who that would be. It's because clearly, I mean, the Democratic Party also is panicking after the debate.
Yeah, like that's not even politics. You watch that, there's no way. Even if you think no one won, even if you think it was disastrous for our country either way, Joe Biden clearly did not win.
No, and I almost felt sorry for him in a way, because it's clearly an issue, an elderly person issue, and they look like it looked like
elder abuse live.
It did. It was hard to watch. But for one thing, they had like 16 people, I think, who were prepping him at Camp David leading up to the debate.
That's too many.
And I think for one thing, I think that's too many. And I think also they probably were hammering him with so much information that when it came time to debate, he was rattling things off, and some of it just didn't make sense. And I think it was just too much information too quickly thrown at him.
It was a lot.
They should have really given him like maybe 4 or 5 strong points to make and to keep coming back to.
That's exactly what they did with Trump. They only gave him like probably, I would say, 5, 6 maybe points, and they said like talking points, and then they said just explain what you think on the rest of the things, because like one of the talking points they gave was on January 6th, and I actually thought that was a very good one, which was basically that how was your life before January 6th versus after January 6th? Because before January 6th, the economy was this. You know, he was listing off all the border was closed, this, and this, and then he's like, after January 6th, this happened, and it was like all things that the Biden administration are responsible for in his eyes.
Well, and I think Trump did a really good job on sticking to those types of things initially,
right?
And then towards the middle to end of the debate, I think he went kind of back to his old ways of saying, like, you're bad, you're terrible, everything was terrible,
everything I do beautiful,
you're the worst president ever, you know, that kind of stuff. But I think the substance at the beginning was very impressive. I thought that he did a really good job.
Whoever prepped him for the abortion conversation did a great job, because like that is going to be the downfall of the Republicans, if any topic will be, and the border is going to be the downfall of the Democrats, if any topic will be. And I thought that there was one question that they asked Biden about abortion, and instead of like going on and on about women's rights to choose, and women's rights, and safety of the mother and safety of the, I would have spouted off some facts about how infant death has increased in these 4 states since the overturning, you know, like things like that. But instead he pivoted to something about immigration. And my friend,
before he said something weird about rape, about what did he say? About sisters and relatives.
Well, that was the question I'm talking about. It was like he, instead of sticking on like on true like women's choice, he said something about how like, why are we talking about migrants raping women when we could be talking about brothers and sisters and parents
and other relatives?
Yeah, and somebody's going sisters, like that's oh my god. It was just it was a really weird response, and somehow brought up immigration, which Trump jumped on, and I'm like, well, yeah,
and which was dumb on Biden's part to bring up immigration, because it's a huge issue.
Well, and I have a lot of friends from DC that are involved in politics who are all like texting throughout it, and one of my Democratic friends goes, did he just pivot from abortion to immigration?
I know.
I'm like, oh my God. You know, his political consultants were just like hitting their heads after that. But Trump couldn't control himself like about 15 minutes in. Like he waited a while, longer than I would think, to go, I don't know what the hell he just said. I don't think he knows what he just said. And I'm like, it was...
Well, it was one of those.
He couldn't contain himself because it was so bad.
Yeah, but it was one of those Biden paragraphs that like go on and on and on, and then it doesn't make any sense.
No.
And then all of a sudden he said something at the end that I don't even remember.
Trump goes, I don't know what he just said.
Nobody knew what he said.
The other funny one was, well, it wasn't funny. It was horrible to watch.
Right.
But it was when Biden kind of like stopped and like rethought something, and then said something about Medicare being dead.
Yes.
Or we killed Medicare or something like that. And Trump goes, well, you did kill Medicare. He beat it to death.
Oh my gosh. And then Biden was saying, he's not going to take care of the elderly. And I want, if I had been Trump, I would have turned around and I would have said, no, don't worry about it, Joe. We'll still take care of you. You know, I mean, there were so many missed opportunities that Trump could have really, and even the golf game.
They told him not to do that, though. What they told him was to let Biden embarrass himself.
Yeah, let him talk.
Let him fumble over his own words, let him lose his train of thought.
And he did that. But then the golf issue was funny to me, and funny to most people who were watching it, because there's these 2 old men and they're arguing about their golf handicaps. But Trump's face when Biden said he had a 6 handicap in golf, and Trump was just like, oh,
Dave Portnoy tweeted and said, Trump didn't even look phased. Anything he said, you're the worst president ever, you're horrible, you're evil. Trump didn't even look phased. The man said he had a 6 golf handicap, and Trump almost fell off the stage.
He almost fell off the stage, literally. And that
then they're going, he's going, I've seen your swing. You have terrible swing. I've seen your swing. And I'm like, so these men are competing to have the nuclear codes, and they're arguing
about their golf swing?
Yeah, their golf swing.
there again, though, Trump missed an opportunity because what he should have said
that was old man.
I know it was an old man thing, and they were
is bigger,
puffing up their chests at each other and talking about their golf game. But what he should have said is, "Look, Joe, I'm not going to debate you about this ridiculous handicap that you supposedly have. Let's talk about something the American people really want to hear about."
You know who I could have seen saying that would be Ron DeSantis, actually.
Yeah, totally.
I think that he's very politician enough to pull that out. Trump was like, "I've seen your swing, bad swing."
But that's why I love Trump too.
Well, he's funny.
And
that's one of the Democrats' biggest problem right now, actually, is that Trump appeals to my age and Gen Z voters because he's hilarious.
Yeah.
And even politics aside, Joe Biden is not funny.
No.
And he's hard to listen to.
He thinks he's funny because he's got a bunch of yes men around him that laugh when he says something.
Well, I'm sure Trump does too.
I know. But no, Biden will say something and then he'll laugh, and then there's all these people kind of laughing. I don't know if it's like nervous laughter in the wings or what. But
I don't know, but what I do know is that halfway through the debate, his campaign said he had a cold.
Oh, I know. All of a sudden he had a cold. And then I love the fact that afterwards, now the Biden administration is saying, well, he clearly won and he did well. And I'm like, okay, do they think that we don't have eyes and ears? And even the Democrats that were not connected directly with the administration were freaking out.
We watch CNN. We watched the post-debate coverage from CNN. And everybody on that panel goes,
"Oh my.
Wow."
Yeah.
They couldn't even, and there was a lot of criticism of Biden that I haven't heard from CNN in a while.
Right.
And what their moderators did great.
I was so impressed, and I'm not
Jake Tapper, and is it Dana Bash?
Yeah. I'm not a huge CNN fan. I do tune in once in a while to see their perspective on certain things.
Yeah, because the gist is accurate. Like the opinion might not be the same, but the facts are there.
Right. But I was so impressed by the moderation of this event compared to past debates.
Even Fox debates.
No, I know. Like the last Fox debate, the moderators did horrible.
Yeah, I thought so too.
They couldn't contain
their own opinions. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash both, they didn't make it about them. They didn't respond any certain way to either candidate. They just said, "Thank you, Mr. President." Move to the next question. If one of them didn't answer the question,
they circled back.
They repeated it immediately.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
They asked it 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah.
And they still didn't answer.
But what do you think about that? And then they start saying, they go, no, that's not what I asked.
Right.
Yeah. I thought they were great.
I thought they were really fair.
I thought they threw hard questions at both and questions that were clearly easy for them to answer at both. I thought it was great.
So I don't know if you saw that part, but at the end, after following the debate, Joe and Jill Biden went by Waffle House.
I did see that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And Jill Biden talking, not to the Waffle House crowd, but in, I guess in their, I don't know where
post-debate
party room, whatever
said, "Let's go, Joe," all over the,
Yeah. She was saying, "You did so well. You answered all the questions."
Oh my God.
And it sounded like she was talking to a kindergartner.
Oh, it was embarrassing.
It was not her husband. It was a kindergartner she was speaking.
That was embarrassing. And like I said, I love Twitter. Twitter's my favorite social media because people on Twitter are ruthless. And oh my God,
have brought some of the favorite.
I could read some of them.
Oh my gosh,
I literally could pull up and read some of them because people are like, "What is he, 7?
Yeah.
Why is she talking to him like that?"
Oh my gosh.
One of the tweets said, "Well, at least we know that Joe Biden is not a real doctor."
Yes.
And that made me laugh.
I also like the limb where somebody tweeted
I'll pull
that the next debate is at Top Golf.
Yeah. You know what? Put him at Top Golf. Whoever wins can be president. That's fine with me.
Gosh.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny.
No, so many of them were so funny. My friend Evan was sending me tweets he texted me and said, your boy's doing great today. And Evan's so not on my side of politics, but we're very good friends. But oh my God, he was like, this is really brutal watching this. And I'm like, I know it's bad.
Yeah.
But a lot of the tweets on Twitter are about that they didn't get Biden's drug cocktail right? Yep. And that he was like,
there was like talk that he would be on like Adderall. We talked about this, I think, last time. Adderall and some other concoction to kind of, for one thing, help him stay up because he's used to going to bed a lot earlier. And then, and just to be like mentally sharp and to be able to speak, but it also speeds up your speech. And so he's rattling things off and he just looked confused.
It was bad. Yeah. And like you said, you feel bad because it's
well, yeah, because I have
an 82-year-old man.
I have 85 and 86-year-old parents.
Yeah.
And everybody knows when you reach that age that you're not quite as smart, quick as you used to be. You're as smart, but you're not kind of as quick as you used to be.
Right.
And you don't remember things all that you used to remember. And I'm 58. I don't remember everything that I remembered when I was, 25 and 30.
I saw a clip of Joe Biden in the primary, in the Democratic primary from 4 years ago in 2018. And he looked so much younger.
Yeah.
It's not, they have that side by side with the debate clips. Yeah. And
I don't know if you've ever looked at that, but into this, but they show a president when they take office and when they leave office, whether that's 4 or 8 years later.
Obama. I remember Obama.
And it ages them
so
overnight.
Fast.
Like so fast compared to a normal 4-year period.
Right, or 8.
Or 8, depending on the presidency.
They're almost all gray every time.
Absolutely. So it is a hard job and it's so stressful. And what 82-year-old man or woman wants to be that stressed and traveling all over the world? And
hey, I saw one of the tweets that I just reread that I saw was, I like both candidates, but I think we need someone older.
Oh my gosh.
And that was all I put on my story because I'm like, people know where I stand politically, but like, honestly, yeah, what happened to where are the JFKs? Where are the good-looking 40-year-old men?
Or even a 50 or 60-year-old man.
Where are the regular 48-year-old women that want to run for president?
Right.
No, this one made you laugh. I remember read it to you. It was watching Uncut Gems to relax now.
Oh, yeah.
After the debate.
Oh, my gosh. Anybody who's seen that
movie ever.
Yeah, it was a very stressful movie.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Somebody said I'm going to jump out of a coconut tree because of Kamala's. You just something about a coconut tree that made no sense. It's like the meme all over TikTok, but Twitter was a war zone that night. It was hilarious.
It was fun. It was funny to read all the different comments.
Oh yeah.
So then we also watched Kamala Harris be interviewed
by Anderson Cooper, who I'm not a huge Anderson Cooper fan, but he did a great job. That was not only the best interview I've ever seen him give, but the best interview I've seen her in.
Yes. I thought she looked good. She looked presidential.
She didn't try to laugh anything off. She goes, that was bad. Slow start. That's how she put it. She was slow start, strong finish. I'm like, I don't know about strong finish, but
no strong finish for Joe, but good try.
Yeah, she did look a lot more presidential though than I've seen her look.
I agree. Yeah. Also, like he asked her, is this the man that you work with daily, side by side? And,
right.
She kept saying, don't judge on the last 90 minutes. So I thought that was good. That was a good thing to say. And she handled that well.
That was good that they put her out immediately to do that right after because they knew there was damage control happening.
So you've been on Fox Radio the last couple of days.
Yeah.
She's doing Presley's doing a Fox Radio circuit as a commentator, a political commentator. And they've been asking you about Kamala Harris's chances of replacing Joe Biden.
Chances of replacing Joe Biden, I think, are higher than chances of her beating Trump.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I don't see how they could slide at this point in time. If we're talking 6 months ago, they could probably put anybody in that nomination position because they would have Joe bow out gracefully, and then Kamala Harris would have the same like opportunity as Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, any of the big names that you're hearing that would replace him, right? But we're too close now.
Yeah.
Because now that it's July, August, September is going to go by like that, and then we're going to be in October.
But there was one thing that I did hear over and over again was that we had the first debate earlier than ever before.
Yeah.
In June. Yeah. So that they would have time to replace the person.
They don't really have time.
Yeah.
I don't think. Because they were expecting him to do a little better than he did.
Right.
They were expecting him to get through it, and he didn't even get through it.
No. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't see that happening. What I see happening more would be trying to get Joe Biden out and
He's so stubborn
and make Kamala president.
Oh my gosh.
Which would be Hillary Clinton would just die.
I mean,
she would just keel over.
The thing is, out of all the brilliant women on both sides,
I'd agree.
That's not who I want representing.
Well, what have I always said about Hillary Clinton? I dislike her greatly.
Yeah.
She was qualified for the job.
Right.
Secretary of State, qualified for the job, intelligent.
She's smart.
And I think she cares about the country. Yeah. I do. I think she's a bad person.
I think she's a bad person. I think she cares more about her own agenda than the American people.
Most of the people that want to run for president do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would rather have her than Kamala.
Oh, for sure.
Night and day.
So, yeah. So, Kamala is 58 or 59
I think 59.
old. So that's pretty interesting. But I did see this thing on an article on the Washington Post. So for those of you who want to look this up, just Google it. But it is a breakdown of if Joe Biden is replaced, mm-hmm. when that would happen, what each scenario kind of looks like.
Yeah.
So they had this really cool graphic, and it was like I actually printed it out, but they show like before Election Day what would happen if Biden is the presumptive nominee and he can still be replaced at the convention and all of that, whether he chooses to step aside or not, he can be replaced at the convention. Yeah, that's what it's saying. And then they said at the convention, after the convention, it becomes, and the convention's in August, after the convention, it becomes more difficult to replace him, which makes sense.
Because the delegates are already given.
Right. And they pretty much have already committed to him anyway. But they could be changed.
That was what I've seen and read a lot, actually, is that too many delegates are committed to Joe Biden for them to try and replace. That was what I mean by time. If they had more time to say, no, like, this is who you need to vote for, this is why. Right. They haven't had time to position anybody. Right. Because they're not positioning Kamala Harris because she can't beat Trump.
No.
The numbers, she does worse than Biden, even after the debate.
Right.
In polling. Politico put out a poll that only a fourth of independents think that she could do the job, which if you have a valid independent candidate like RFK Jr. is, and you can't win with only a fourth of independents.
Yeah.
You just can't.
No. Well, she's been unlikable since the get-go. I was actually really surprised that they picked her as a VP anyway.
I don't think they saw her as a threat to Biden.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know?
Which is why Obama picked Joe Biden.
Well, 1,000%. That's
there
why Trump picked Mike Pence.
Right. Yes, for sure. I mean, smart guy, but not a threat.
But it's also why those people say yes to that position, because people were like, Ron DeSantis is going to be Trump's VP pick.
And I was like, there's no way in hell.
Because he knows that is a death sentence for presidential aspirations. Unless you win it the next time, it's almost never going to happen.
Well, it's traditionally been like an ornamental type position.
It is.
But it's transitioned some because as the world gets more and more complex.
Totally.
They get a little bit more involved in the process.
But something my teacher that was the speechwriter for Joe Biden when he was VP at Georgetown said in my speechwriting class was, it's easier to write for the vice president than the president because the vice president's words don't establish policy, but the president's words do establish policy.
Good point.
And I'm like,
yeah.
So that made me think of the position in a whole different way.
Of course. That totally makes sense. So on to that graphic too, it says, so after the convention, the Democratic National Convention party chair could still call a committee into session meeting and pick a replacement. It's unlikely that would happen. And then actually after Election Day, it talks about what would happen too. And of course, that's the 20th Amendment, and that would replace Biden.
25th, yeah.
Is it 25th? Mm-hmm. That would replace Biden with Kamala.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting.
Well, I definitely think it's going to be, it's going to be very interesting to watch, fascinating to watch how that plays out, because I don't know if they have the steam to be able to replace him. So, and now that Trump's federal Supreme Court case went in his favor.
Oh yeah.
Which we don't really need to get into.
But nothing's really.
No, it just it expanded presidential power a little bit, which we've been doing since the 80s anyway. Right. So that wasn't a surprise to me. But now that his charges are going to go back to district courts to see what's really valid.
Right.
Now that, and to see what's really official and unofficial actions by like the president in the official capacity. That's going to be delayed months.
Oh, it will. It'll be after the election.
It'll be dismissed if he wins.
I agree.
So it's going to be interesting now.
Yeah.
November.
So that was actually a big win for him yesterday, though. So
it was. But it was a big win for executive power, essentially.
For sure.
Because not only can Trump not be prosecuted for certain things, now Joe Biden is safe from certain things.
Yes. And what it does is it protects the president from having to worry about being pursued after he's no longer president for decisions he had to make under pressure as the leader of the free world. I mean, you can't be worrying about this hanging over your head about, are you going to be prosecuted?
I do understand the dissenting opinion from Sotomayor, though, where she said that, like, I don't know, well, her examples were really extreme. It was like, what if Trump or some of the executive uses the Navy, I don't think she said Trump, so the executive uses the Navy SEALs to take out a political opponent.
Oh my
gosh. That is such a crazy outland. And that's what Roberts responded to that, is he said, that is a hyperbolic statement that is really just trying to fearmonger.
Well, and what I talked to you about too, even on the way here, was I loved what they said on Fox yesterday. I was listening, and I can't remember who said this, but they were like, when are we going to get past these hypothetical, apocalyptic thinking, because of what they're thinking about Trump, like that he's this doomsday candidate who he was president for 4 years and the world did not end.
Well, and
it's not going to end if he's president.
When people say that about a presidential election, I'm like, the world doesn't end when we elect a different president of a different party. It just doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't. There's too many checks in place on everybody's power in general.
Right.
But yeah, no. Amy Coney Barrett did have a bit of a dissenting opinion, though. She agreed with, I think, Sotomayor or Kintaji on one point, and it was that you should be able to look at the actions in context if they make sense for a criminal trial. So even if like you're not charging on like those official actions, you should be able to present them in court as evidence of criminal charges. That's something that's non-official.
Okay.
And I'm like, I get that.
Okay.
It's just like adding context to whatever the action was,
right? Which
I get. So it's not like total immunity.
Yeah. But regardless, it's going to be delayed until after the election. So how much?
We don't have to worry about that until after.
Yeah. How much weight does it have right now? Not very much. So.
All right. Well, we only have a few minutes left. So let's finish with something lighter. Do you want to talk about Baby Reindeer first?
Are we going to talk about cameras? Just that trend, or do you want to save that for Italy? We can talk about that in Italy, or
I mean, we can talk about it now since you just mentioned it. But the digital camera craze that's happening right now. I've always preferred cameras over phone pictures, but now everybody wants like these like retro, like early 2000s cameras.
And I wish I had known, because I would have saved some of my cameras from before, because I had like the PowerShot, the Canon PowerShot.
Right, that one is sold out everywhere, and so is the GX7.
I even had a really cool little Olympus, and I can't remember what that one was called, but so those are like the trend now.
One of my friends
was almost impossible.
Oh my God. And you can buy them for like $1,500 on Amazon.
Oh my gosh.
$1,500.
Yeah.
Well, I went to order one because I was like, oh, I want one for summer. I want one for
how fun.
my trip. How fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, wasn't even going to ask. I was like, probably like $200, right? And I went on Amazon and I would go, oh, no. It was like $1,200. And like, I thought it was like, well, I think myself a cute little $200 camera.
I think the cheapest one we found was like $780 or something, $790. And we're like, well, maybe. And I'm like, what am I thinking? That's crazy. Well, so I bet the camera companies listen to this, watching
this. They're probably going, what the hell's going on? They're selling out of all these.
But they can go back to their old formulas and just improve them slightly and roll them out by Christmas.
Yeah. They're already increasing the supply right now.
I bet they are.
Because they're sold out everywhere. We went to 3 different Best Buys?
Yeah.
Couldn't find
Best Buy. I really don't like Best Buy.
Couldn't find them at Target, couldn't find them at Walmart, couldn't find them anywhere.
So we resorted to Best Buy, but that's not my favorite place.
No.
But anyway, so more on that. We did find a little camera, and we'll see how it works out.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the best.
No.
So hopefully by Christmas they'll come out with some cool ones, and maybe the price will drop down a little bit,
No, it'll stay high. It'll stay high.
I don't know.
And through the holidays.
I don't know. Somebody's smart. One of the companies will be smart and come out with a reasonable priced one that maybe the middle tier kind of thing, where they'll go, oh, okay, it's $350 instead of $1,200 or whatever.
Well, it's only $1,200 because it's on Amazon, and it's like one that somebody has.
Yeah,
and they're like,
well, that's why I said I wish I kept mine, because I had all those different cameras, and I think we sold them at garage sales for like
$10,
$20, whatever it was. Okay, so we're going to talk about Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, I know we're a little late on that because I it's probably a month or two old, like where it was like really popular.
Yeah, but
I turned that on because I was like, it said like suggested it for me because it's like we like true crime stuff, and it was about a stalker.
Yeah,
it's a British show,
right?
It's a British show. The guy that wrote it's Scottish, I think, and he starred in it and as himself.
Yeah, and it actually happened. And it actually happened to him, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
happened to him. So he wrote the series and played himself.
So I kind of liked it at first because it was kind of quirky, and I'm like, oh, okay. So we started watching it, and it progressively got more and more disturbing. And it
was a weird show.
I would never watch it again.
So it
was kind of gross in spots too. But
large lonely woman like came into the bar where he was working, and she looked really sad, and so he gave her like a cup of tea for free.
Yeah, on the house.
Yeah, on the house, and then he like chatted with her and was like nice, a little flirty, but like just nice with her, and then she kind of attached herself to him.
Oh yeah.
From that moment forward for like 2 years.
Yeah. And she found his cell phone number somehow and was texting him nonstop.
She found him with his girlfriend in public and beat her up.
Oh, it was crazy. It was really crazy.
Calling his parents, and it was like a weird show.
Showing up at some party or something. Remember they were doing like some little light event somewhere, and she showed up. I don't know.
Oh well, he was a comedian. And he showed up at his comedy show.
That too.
And started singing and heckling him, and no. It was a good show. I wouldn't watch it again.
No, it was a good show, but I think
it teaches you to be wary of people, though. What I will say,
it does. It just was really disturbing.
Yeah.
It was really disturbing.
So if you watch it, don't think we're crazy, because it was number one on Netflix. So I know a ton of people were watching it.
No, a ton of people are watching it, and so that's why we kind of dove in. But I think that
it's only one season.
I think most of my friends in my age group would not like that show.
It was a weird show.
It was very strange. So anyway,
if you hated Saltburn, don't watch this.
Oh yeah.
It's a level past Saltburn.
Yeah. And I liked Saltburn, but there were parts of Saltburn that I was like, oh my gosh, that's disturbing, or that's disgusting, or whatever. And
that was the point.
Yeah, I know. I know. Anyway, so that, and then I started watching Bridgerton.
Thank God. She's years late on Bridgerton.
Because a couple of girls that I know, like sorority sisters, are like, I can't believe you listen to the podcast. I can't believe you haven't watched it.
She doesn't listen to me. She listens to the 80 Pies.
No, I said I actually already started watching it. I commented back to her. I started watching it.
She's on season 1 yet, but she hasn't gotten to that episode. That's like a lot. Really? I told you. We watched all the episodes, and I go, I'm not watching the next episode with you because I know what it is.
Oh,
it's
really very sexual. Okay. Yeah. For some reason, Presley and I always end up watching something and it becomes really sexual. And she's like, oh.
Yeah. I go, Becky, why are we watching porn? Why is it on TV? Like, what was that 80s movie we watched? You were like, this is a great movie.
About last night?
Yes. Rob Lowe.
You grow up with these movies in the 80s, and I did. And I love 80s movies. But you forget how sexual they are. You don't remember that part of it.
I've never watched an 80s movie that didn't have nipples in it.
I know. Every movie is like showing nipples and breasts and people making out and having sex. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So they're hard to watch with your kids? Obviously. But you do kind of forget, too, that they were as sexual as they were.
Well, Bridgerton's great, but...
it is. I'm excited. I like it.
I will say the second season's my favorite, and it's not as graphic.
Okay, well, that's good, because I'm heading that way. So I think that's all we have for today.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to close this out by thanking everybody again for tuning in, and you can find our podcast with the Casual Critics on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a lot of other
YouTube,
platforms.
anywhere else.
Yeah, YouTube if you want to see some of the visuals and all that. But thanks for joining us today, and this has been the Baker Take.